Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where you might want to work on your PvP skills. You're probably going to need it for King of the Hill bingo. Hi, I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, welcome. We're a podcast that talks pretty much exclusively about old school RuneScape. My co-host and I normally get off on tangents quite frequently. However, they're almost always RuneScape related. So if you're here for old school RuneScape content, you are in the right place. If you're here for RS3 content, you're not quite in the right place, but if you actually go down the hall that way to the left, you'll find the RS3 podcasts. If you're not new around here, this intro is weird because this episode's going to be a little weird. I originally had an interview planned for this Sunday, and unfortunately, I got sick like a mumpty and had to cancel. And then we couldn't find a day to reschedule that was feasible that met our cadence of release schedule to get you guys this episode here on this delightful Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon or 6 years in the future whenever you're listening to it. So in any case, for the opening part of this episode and for the break, I will be going it alone, a scary prospect, I know. If you've been around here for a while, you probably suspect what's coming. We're releasing a Patreon episode. I know, kind of feels like a cop-out, but we have a bunch of content that a lot of people haven't yet seen. This week, we decided to release the extra episode from way back in January of this year, which was actually released on February 1st at 3:07 p.m., according to Patreon. If you guys have been on the Patreon for that long, or if you've gone back and listened to this episode, it's going to sound familiar. Michael and I make a tier list of all the bosses. We figured you guys liked the tier list we made for skills, so we figured we would drop this one. Unfortunately, and this is the devious part on our end, it's only the first part. So if you've been around for a while, you might remember that this particular extra episode took Michael and I 2 months to do. The first half we did probably maybe 20 or 30 bosses, and the second half we rounded out for the other 20 or 25 that we had left. In one episode, it would have been about 4.5 hours long, and that would have been a real lot to edit. So we decided to break it up. But channeling the spirit of Michael here, if you want to go listen to part 2 as soon as this is over, head on over to our Patreon and listen to part 2 because it's up. And it's been up since February 28th at 3:50 p.m. So go check that out. Link will be in the description. But I'm going to talk about that afterwards when I shout out the patrons. As always, there's going to be no community question, fun question, or achievement of the week this week. We'll return to all of our regularly scheduled shenanigans next week when Michael is back in his proper state with his proper recording equipment and we can get all that fun stuff out to you. We may also have another interview coming up. All depends on when schedules align and when we can release content for you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to send you off to Michael and Oxie from holy shit, 10 months ago. Yeah, we're gonna deal with that on our own while you enjoy the first half of this. See you guys very soon.
He started recording and then just got up and left. Xpwaste, you deserve better. Just kidding. I am gearing up for some fishing. I don't even know is this going to be in the episode? Just me talking to myself? I mean, it could be. I need to wear a mining cape. Is this the cold open to the extra episode? Hello. Oh, wait. I'm not supposed to start yet. Hi. I hope you're okay. Good to see you. Oxie's not here. He's in the restroom. But we are going to have an extra episode starting soon. I'm looking over. If you're watching, I mean, there's only going to be a video. So if you're watching this video, I'm looking to the right, left, right. I'm looking over because I'm gearing up to start fishing while we record. Because I'm a dirty gamer and I have to do something. The viewers and I came to the conclusion that you are fired as a co-host.
Fair enough. Honestly, I'll take that. It's been a long time coming. It's been real. It's been fun.
I don't even want to fight for your job. So I don't know how that whole intro is going to go. I guess you'll sync it up and then come back and put in the cold open that I did.
You did a cold open without me while I was pissing?
It was so extremely cold.
Oh my god.
Can't wait for you to see it.
Oh my god. Oh, look at me. I got some surprises to look forward to tomorrow. Let's fucking go, boys.
What's up, Patreon? Hello and welcome to the January extra episode. I'm your host, Michael.
And I'll go fuck myself, apparently.
And I'm joined by... You gotta let me finish the spiel, man.
Your host, not your co-host? Good God.
I'm your co-host.
And I'm the intern host, apparently. Oxie. I've recently been fired from my original hosting job, so I'm here filling in space. Right,
we just fired you, so now you're the intern. Frick, I need a beer.
You son of a... Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, guys, he got up and walked away. I'm going to zoom in on his camera so you can look at his fucking chair while he's gone. I genuinely don't know what he said during the cold open, but, like, that son of a bitch. Where am I going? I'm going to the fishing guild, right? Yeah, because I'm going to fish sharks. I should fish minnows. That would be smart. But I also don't have 80 cooking. Do I have 80 cooking banked? That's a good question. So let's see. I have 511 XP. 511,000. 511,990 multiplied by 12. I have 6 million cooking XP banked? Jesus Christ. Oh, that's right, because I have 1,800 Karambwans. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, sure. Might as well wear my angler outfit and go do that. Man, I should go to Temporos, too. I'm talking entirely about leagues, by the way. I don't have a single opinion on the main game right now. It exists. Yo, the shittiest part about the full angler outfit, you can't wear mole slippers. Changed my mind. I might cut this whole bit out because you guys are paying for this content, and it seems kind of stupid. I need 82 fishing for minnows. I have 85. Take me out there, man. Travel the platform. Great guns. I freaked out for a second. I was like, yo, is there no small net over here? Man, trade Kylie Minnow. Man. Okay. Apparently I need a small net. Yeah, like I said, you guys pay for this content, so I shouldn't be just rambling. Oh, look at that. Michael's back. It's only been...
No cut, huh? We're not going to cut.
I mean, we might cut that out. It's just me talking about leagues, which, again, is a surprise to no one, but...
All I heard was, and you're paying for this content, so...
Yeah, no, we're just, we're out here fucking vibing. Should I turn...
The viewers have had a special moment with me, and then a special moment with you, so there's no way we can cut that out.
Of course. Sorry, guys. That's what you paid for.
Anyway.
Paid egregious amounts of money to listen to that. So
I have a beer.
Hell yeah. What kind?
Kahuna.
Kona.
Sorry, Kona Brewing.
Kona.
It's what I had the last time I think we did one of these. And if you keen-eyed viewers will also notice.
Don't tell them. I'm gonna cut your audio out right there so they don't know. They'll just have to figure it out themselves. That's part of the fun. It's part of the illusion of being on the extra episode.
Well, it goes without saying, if you're keen-eyed, you know.
Yeah. Only the keen with eyes.
I just got my first bleep on the podcast.
No, you've been bleeped before. Remember I put the censor bar over you that one time? Because
like my voice has been bleeped before?
Maybe. I don't actually know.
Who knows?
I'll start swearing more and we'll change that.
I have an image to uphold, Oxie.
Fuck that.
Anyway, today we have a very special episode for you. I was going to say, you already know because you've seen the title. You don't know because we don't put anything in the titles. We just say whatever bonus episode. It doesn't actually have a specific title.
You can tell that I literally only edit these bonus episodes because I literally thought to myself, Michael, why the fuck are we not going to have a title for the episode? I do
No,
all the
it's-
editing, and Michael takes care of all the posting.
Yeah, just post it. No, it doesn't have. I mean, you could go back and look. Okay, I'll give you this. If you check the description, there might be something in the description. But because I know now that you're checking the description, I'm going to keep it vague. And now you'll be in wonder. I don't know. I like treating these episodes like this really is just a Discord call. It's just going to be silly. I don't know. It's fun. But what are we talking about today, Oxie?
We have gotten a suggestion from a beloved community member, Too Much Dad. Still not a dad, by the way. He suggested we do a tier list. I think he suggested like a boss tier list or a quest tier list. It was like a month ago that he suggested it. Mm-hmm. Maybe beginning of January, which was about damn near a month ago at this point.
Right.
So we're like, oh, boss tier list sounds great. Fuck a quest tier list. That's way too much work.
We would have to do, for that, we would have to do like quest lines or like the big major ones and then smaller quest lines.
Well, like I would want to do every single quest because some series in a quest line I love, some I hate.
150?
For example, we've got Plague City and Biohazard, two of my favorite quests in the game, followed by one of my top 5 least favorite quests in the fucking game in the Elf series. The Elf series holds 2 of my 5
Roving
least
elves?
favorite quests.
Morning End, Roving Elf,
And Morning's End and what?
Morning's End, and you lost me.
Underground Pass immediately
is that in the
follows.
quest line?
Yeah, it
Oh,
immediately
gosh.
follows Biohazard. I just did Biohazard the other day. I love that quest so much. I did it on Leagues. I could have bought it, but I just like doing it, so I didn't. I one tick bought Underground Pass as soon as I was done, though.
Oh yeah.
My favorite part of that whole quest, because I'm sure I've said it before, but like I went in unspoiled. So when you go to the scientist's house dressed as the priest, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't toxic," and you're like, "But what about the plague?" And he's like, "That's the thing. There is no plague." I'm like,
Dun dun dun.
It literally was a dun 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 moment. It was real good. I was joking around in Discord. I'm like, man, this plague seems really bad. Like, I hope it doesn't get worse for the people of West Ardoyan. And the people in Discord were like, oh yeah, it's gonna get so much worse. I'm like, oh, don't spoil it. I've never done it before. So they started fucking memeing. It's like, oh man, you should see how bad it gets in the next quest.
Oh no. I don't have a favorite quest line, unfortunately. Maybe one day I will. But I mean, my favorite quest so far, actually no, I lied. I'll take that back. My favorite quest line is the Korend quest line because I've really enjoyed the lore of like the houses and how it kind of mimics the medieval times of having lords and ladies, and then there's a king. And is there anything like that?
Well,
In other, because
there was a king.
spoil sucks. I don't think there's any other realm that has like lords and ladies and then a hierarchy of that sort other than in Korend.
No, we don't actually know the
Zaya.
governing bodies of some of these cities. Like, are we just... So if we just go around, we've got Lumbridge, Varrock, Falador. We'll use those 3 as examples. Varrock is ruled by a monarch, King Rold.
I mean,
Lumbridge
the
is
Duke.
ruled by a duke, which
By a
are
duke.
we meant to assume that the Duke of Lumbridge is somehow related to the king? So King Rold would be the king of Mistalin, and Duke Horatio is the Duke of Lumbridge, kind of like how there's the Duke of Sussex or in it or whatever. I don't know. So if we assume they're the same, does that imply that Asgarnia is a military state? Because there is no leader of Falador. It's just the White Knights. So
maybe the king in Varrock, Rold.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he is the king in Asgarnia as well. But that wouldn't make sense because
it would make sense. It's a totally different kingdom.
it's a totally different kingdom.
So I'm under the impression that Falador and the rest of Asgarnia is a purely militaristic state.
Maybe.
which is like, it would make sense. Look at Burthorpe, which is pretty much just booze and soldiers. Which like makes sense.
They do have a castle though.
They have a
in
castle. I don't know.
No,
It
who's in
doesn't
the
matter. Soldiers, games room. I don't know.
They're just about fun.
Yeah, they're all about fun and fucking murdering trolls. Like that's their whole game is have fun, kill trolls. And I mean, as far as Kandarin goes, are we meant to assume that King Lathis is the king of all of Kandarin?
Yes.
But then what happens with the Gnome Stronghold? I would imagine they're an independent thing run by King Narnode.
It's just separate land. The Gnome land and Kandarin are separate, I would assume. But then, like, who's over Yanel? I guess they don't have to. There doesn't have to be a governing body in every single city.
But like,
it
there's
is
no
the next
mayor?
largest city.
There's no like chancellor. Like, is Yanil just like Artie's bitch? You know,
It's just like the southern city where or it's a town. It could be just a town of folks who put up a wall for no reason.
There's ogres to the south. Of course, they put up a wall.
There's a huge gate on the west, but then the east is just literally open. No gate.
Oh no,
Why?
the fucking RuneScape cities are some of the worst defended in the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the castle in Varrock is awful. The castle in Falador is nice because of the moat. So like that's good defense there. One way in, one way out. But like there's no defense towers. There's no gates. You just sort of like walk in. Varrock is exposed in like 4 different directions. Like Varrock is awful. If I was gonna
Makes for nice player journey, but not for actual castle building.
Like-
and again, it goes the same thing with Lumbridge.
No,
Like,
it's
I've never
easier
seen
to
a
invade
gate.
Varrock than Lumbridge. Lumbridge has 2 points of entry to get into the castle. The main front area that if you go all the way up to the top has a little platform, which would imply that there's some form of gate that could go
that's
down.
True, yeah.
And then it has that tiny little back door that could be very easily brigaded. And even if it can't be, soldiers can't flood through in full armor at top speed. So
That's true also.
Lumbridge it's not great. You're fucked if they figure out how to get through the Dorgeshan tunnels. But Varrock is just like, there's no gates. The walls aren't that high. The castle's not very protected. The guards look stupid. There's nothing going for Varrock, man.
I mean, to be fair to Varrock, there are literally guards at every city.
Yeah, but they
gate
look
entrance.
stupid. Is the
They
thing.
look stupid, but
They lose
looks aren't
so
everything.
many swag points that like it's not even worth. It's over. They lose too many swag points. I'm sorry,
Oh man.
Michael.
And
Why
that
are we
other-
recording
that's
this
another-
episode?
Because we want to talk about RuneScape lore, Oxie.
No, we originally
No.
we literally have something in front of us that we are trying to present, and we're getting into like poorly designed military tactics of different kingdoms in RuneScape. This is great. This should
Classic.
be main title content right here.
It really should. We should talk about the lore and and why RuneScape is the way it is, but maybe we'll do that for an episode in the future. But as you can see on screen now, lovely transition.
Okay, perfect.
have-
That's Oxie's cue to transition it. I'm just gonna do a fade.
Oxy, future Oxy.
Yeah,
Go back.
future Oxy's just gonna.
Transition. Okay. So on screen now, you're seeing a tier list. We love these for the extra episodes. And on the bottom, bunch of different bosses. Actually, every single boss in the game. So we are
Almost
going
every
to-
boss in the game.
Oh, who's missing?
I didn't include the Rabbit and Prifdinus or the Evil Chicken or any quest boss or any sub boss within a raid or
Gotcha. Well, the main ones you can get ranked in. Let's just say that these are the high score bosses.
yeah.
Because raids is on there, right?
There's
Chambers is
no
on there?
there's
So,
no
like,
distinction.
overall?
There's no distinction between like any sort of mode. Fazani's, CM, HM, like there's no
Gotcha.
mode distinction, but like fuck that. So, you know.
So do you have any parameters that you'll be basing these off of? Is there anything that you're wanting to get out on the table, so to speak?
They're gonna vary a lot based on my own experience with the bosses. And some of them are gonna vary based on how I experience the boss solo and with other people.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So for me, this will be about my perceived experience, because I'm going to tell you right now, I would say at least 60% of these I probably have little to no experience in. I've done most things in this game.
I was gonna say, I would think you've killed almost all of these bosses before.
Yes, I've killed them,
in
but like,
some way or another.
For instance, what's this guy? The Zombie boss.
Krill?
Killed him like once. Krill, once.
Yeah.
For the diary. Before Next came out, I had one Arma KC. So
I don't blame you.
There's certain things that I just don't have a lot of experience in. And there's some that I have a ton of experience in. So for me, it'll be about perceived experience, and more so whether or not I have fun at that boss. Like whether or not the mechanics are challenging and engaging. If it's not, so I'll just give you an example. Boom. Kraken, he's F tier for me. Not fun, not engaging, stupid boss.
I mean,
that's just an example. So we could talk about it, but yeah, let's get into it.
Do you want to start
with
with the Slayer bosses? Because like the old school RuneScape wiki, which we will link somewhere in the description, which just has all the bosses on the same page. Slayer's the first one that breaks it up, so we could talk Slayer. Did you? Holy shit! I'm like, bro.
I'm just putting him up there.
I was like, somebody just despises Slayer. Holy shit. Yeah. So we're.
How do I?
Skatizo's not a Slayer boss.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Okay, fine. You're right.
There's Dawn, and then there's
Who else?
We're missing one. I know we're missing one. Yeah, we got Sire up there. I think that's it.
Do you need a Slayer level to kill Dagannoth?
No, you don't. DKs actually have one of the least requirements in the game. You just have to get to Waterbirth Island, which takes no requirements. You might have to do, if you're going by yourself, you might have to do Fremennik Trials to get a rock from Ask Aladdin.
Okay.
But
right.
If you're going with like a group, you don't need, I don't think, literally any requirements. There are no combat stats. It's not locked behind anything. This is back in the day when like people didn't lock shit like they do now, which yeah. So Slayer bosses.
So
you want to start with the lowest level first and go with Dusk and Dawn. So the image I chose was Dawn because the Dawn pet looks better than the Dusk pet. And also Dusk has these stupid pissant baby parties every time you attack him. So, you know.
So for me, I don't have much experience, and I would call it a middle tier boss with, it has challenging mechanics, and I think it has a decently fun encounter. It is repetitive and it is boring. So it's floating for me between B and C. Same.
I mean, I'll put it in the B tier because it can
all
actually
subject to change, by the way.
Yeah, all subject to change. It can be decent Slayer XP if you do an entire task there. And the money's really not bad from Grotesque Guardians. It's no Hydra money, but it's definitely not bad. So I'm fine with B tier. It is hella repetitive though.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, because you figure out the mechanics and then you just do it. And that's with most things. I mean, that's with most Slayer bosses at least. The mechanics are really predictable. Like for example, we'll get into Zulrah, but at least Zulrah has different phases and it also has different rotations.
Well, one thing that will like firmly cement Dusk and Dawn at least the B tier for me is Dusk and Dawn reward good gameplay in a way that not a lot of bosses do, particularly in Dusk's second phase. So if you're good enough or fast enough, you can just DPS Dusk down to the point where she doesn't get the healing phase.
That's
technically, if you're good enough and fast enough, you can damage. Dawn is the flappy one. Dusk is the big pissant baby party one. You can do enough damage to Dusk when you can first attack him to phase him immediately. If you have like D-claws into a scythe or something and you hit like real big, you can phase him before he does that like fold up, knock you backwards. That's his pissant baby party. So I like Dusk and Dawn because if you're good and fast or just rich, you can get through the boss quicker. I don't know.
solid. And then I would assume Kraken's next,
Uh,
or Abyssal.
Abyssal
Sire's
Sire,
next.
if we're going by level, is next actually.
Okay.
This boss,
I do have 100 KC at this boss.
this boss can sit firmly in at least the C tier for me. I don't know, C or B. I don't know.
I would call it B.
Really?
It's easy enough that I think it doesn't become super tedious, and then the rewards are decent. Like if you get a bludgeon made, you can get a whip with the abyssal dagger. Like the drop rate's not too bad either. Like 1 in 100 for an unsired, it's not terrible. And then the abyssal demons get assigned in high quantities, so you have the chance to get like at least roll the drop table chance twice.
Mm-hmm.
It could be C tier because it's literally brain dead.
I'll take B tier, only because everything you said is true, and I have found that like I can accidentally get into a really good rhythm of Sire and not realize how long I've been there. I think there was when I was first learning the boss, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do like 5 or 6 KC and crank out this task really slowly. I did like 70 kills in a couple hours, just because I got so into the rhythm of like kill, teleport, restore, return, kill, teleport, restore, return, or like I wasn't even doing that. Like I was staying for multiple kill trips or whatever. Like it just felt good to keep going back. And I will also give Sire credit because the combat achievements are hard, which
okay, so that makes it more challenging. Which is again, if you like that, it could be up there. Next on list, Kraken. I made a joke earlier, Kraken being F tier, but it really isn't. If we're talking bosses that are completely and utterly, I keep saying brain dead, but I feel like that may be a little insensitive.
No,
they're just easy.
It's you don't need to do
they're
anything.
easy. I can go into a privately rented instance with Blood Barrage. Granted, it's going to cost some money to do it, but you can literally sit there, throw a fishing explosive in, walk away from the computer. At an 87, at a tier 87 boss, you have to have an 87 Slayer to do it. It shouldn't be that easy. But if you choose to do the method where you're using your trident, it can be decently good money. I mean, tridents, he drops pretty good runes and sand fuse. So I would maybe put this in B.
I would put it in C for how long the task takes.
The task is incredibly long. Like it's easy to kill.
It's easy,
but it's
but
not
like
quick.
when you get 150 of them, you're like, okay, cool. You're just there forever. I don't think Kraken is the worst boss ever. I would have been interested to see what Kraken was like before they just like made a mistake and we're like, oh yeah, no, that's a feature now.
Okay. Remind me what you're talking about because I know you've said it before, but
so
it's basically like
there are in
his
Kraken's
magic
code.
attack.
In Kraken's code, there are 2 numbers somewhere that cancel each other out. I don't know the exact code, so I don't know what the exact mechanics are like within the code, but they just completely nullify each other. It would be like
mechanics do.
It would be like, at Verzik, for example, if a player walks close, then player gets bounced. But if player walks close, Verzik can't deal damage. So it's something, or like Verzik can't apply stun. Like there's something.
Here it is.
That
if player walks close, Verzik bounce. If player walks close, Verzik can't bounce.
Yeah, Verzik can't move or something like that. Like there's some
just,
weird. I don't know if they're related or not. I feel like they're like tangentially related. I think that might be a better example. Like Verzik will stall if a player is close to her for 2 ticks, but Verzik will also bounce a player if they're next to her for 1 tick. So it's weird. It's something stupid like that. Is that how Verzik's coded? I don't know. I don't know how to code a video game. Point is, Kraken is broken.
Kraken's broken
Because 2 numbers cancel each other out. And when they tried to fix it, the higher ups were like, no, that's just the boss now.
They should have just fixed it.
So I'll put Kraken in C tier because Kraken tasks take like 4 hours.
I have an argument for it to be in B tier in that it is nice that for some of us, I'm sorry, TMD. Well, he's not even in the, okay, he's not going to hear this.
Yeah, he is. Is he not?
He's a gnome child.
Oh. No, I thought he upgraded Party Pete just so he could listen to these things.
No, we can get into it, but like he wanted the extra chance for the giveaway for that 1 month,
Ha.
so he bumped it up. Anyway, the drop rate on the boss pet, the drop rate on the pet is pretty decent. It's like 1 in 3,000.
It's but it's the same as every other Slayer boss.
I just feel like it's way more common though,
Because you
like,
can
to get
sit there for 100 kills in a trip.
Yeah,
You don't even need Blood Barrage. A Sang Staff will get you what you need. Like, it's grody that a Sang Staff can do that for you. That's how I did my 100 KC in one trip challenge for the Master Diaries. Was to do that. It was
with a Sang.
Yeah.
But I mean, I completed the log by, I think, the 600 range KC, jar, pet, everything.
I completed
It's not a
mine on
bad log.
444. I was on vacation and I was I was up north with my ex at her family's like big cabin cottage thing. She called it a cabin. It was a mansion. I digress.
Oh.
I was laying next to her. She's conked the fuck out, fast asleep. And like, you know me, I'm a night owl. So like I was awake playing RuneScape, doing my Kraken task on my phone. And I got the pet at 444. And we're just like, I was freaking out. That freaked me out. Oh man, I was freaking out. But it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, so I couldn't get like too excited. I just took a screenshot and think I like added TMD and said, "I'm so sorry, man," at like 1 a.m. and then went to bed. It was the last kill of the trip too, or the last kill of the task.
Nice.
So once again,
I have this pet, obviously,
hella
because I
spooned.
completed the log, but like I think B tier. Actually, okay, I'm looking at the chart right now, and if we're putting Kraken on the same level as Abyssal Sire, we're doing everyone an injustice.
Yeah, we're doing something significantly wrong. I don't think Kraken should be. I could see arguments for making Kraken lower because Kraken has no mechanics, but right now we'll keep it in. I think C tier is good for Kraken.
So this is the floor. Every other boss that we talk about being in C tier, we're comparing it to Kraken, so we might have to move it down.
Kraken might get adjusted, but we shall see. There's also a chance that like we don't get a lot of D and F tier bosses because I really like PVM and I see the merit in a lot of bosses, but also fuck some of these bosses. So
Sure, like Vedion. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to our wilderness folks.
Cerberus. I would call it A tier.
Cerberus,
At least A or B. I don't have a ton of KC.
Really?
Let me see.
Oh man, I'm not a Serb stan. When I learned Serb, I learned it in Trailblazer League, which I know, Michael, you didn't play Trailblazer League, but if you guys, the listeners, did, Trailblazer was an awful league to learn how to do shit in.
Okay,
because
I have 2 KC.
You have 2 KC at Cerberus. You're trying to put that bitch in B tier?
Let's just reset that because I don't know.
Oh my god. All right. So Cerberus isn't bad, right? It's engaging. Much like Dusk and Dawn, it is rewarding. If you kill...
Very rewarding.
You can kill... No, like the mechanics are. Like if you kill the boss fast enough, Cerberus has like a sequence of attacks based on the amount of damage she takes. And you can cheese it to where... you can skip the ghosts every single time. And for me, it's the ghosts that make Cerberus like a D tier boss because I hate those ghosts.
Oh.
It was so hard for me to like flick the prayers. I had to like get Scape in a private phone call and be like, listen, how do I do this? He's like, just switch between melee, mage, and range. I'm like, no, I hear you. And mechanically, I know how to do it. But in practice, it's not working. I was getting absolutely fucked by Serb for the first like 50 KC. Yeah. I don't love it. It is rewarding financially with the prim. The smoldering stones are up. Eternal crystals are meh. Pegs are a nice meme.
Yeah. So one thing that we haven't even talked about is like the pet and how cool the pet is. I think in this current state, these should stay in the tiers they are. But like, I think just the pet alone, it's hella cute. Like Hell Puppy is just cute. And for it being a Slayer boss.
Look at that. I'm a cat man through and through.
My dog is not in here, or I would show you. But I mean, I have a bloodhound in game. So like, I'm a dog guy. But I I don't know, like the rewards, the crystals, even the smoldering stone, even the troll drop of the drop table.
I don't
is
think
decently
the
rewarding
smoldering
right now.
stone. The smoldering stone's only a troll drop if you get it in a bingo, and it doesn't count for the bingo. Literally after the Vikings bingo we did, the one where I got hella spooned with Nightmare and Bofa, I will always put the smoldering stone on the drop table now. Because the fact that the admins in Vikings were like laughing at us because we're like, guys, please, we have like 3 Pegasians and 2 smoldering stones. How does it not count? And they were just like, they were like, no, fuck you, no dupes. I was pissed because dupes counted for every single other tile except the Cerberus tile for absolutely no reason at all. I don't know, but you want to talk about villain backstories like from this most recent episode? That's my villain backstory with Cerberus. Y'all can ligma. Every drop from Cerberus counts.
Okay. So
at this point, even the jar
Oxie,
counts as a stone. Fuck Cerberus.
What I'm hearing is it's a comfortable B. Your opinion, it should be lower. But I think given the fact that it has all of the things that give it B tier quality, I think it's B. You're just salty.
Well, no, I don't like the ghosts. I really don't like the ghosts.
Yeah.
I also don't like, so Cerberus has this
doable.
really cute thing where she'll attack and you just won't know what attack style it is until it hits you. Unless I'm just bad. I think there's a way to read it because she'll do like a triple attack to start the kills. And I think you can flick between all of them, but I am not good enough to know when that's happening. It's not as distinct as Vorkath, where like the mage and range attacks and the melee even look dramatically different. So
I'll say this. Once they added Arclight as a way to kill it, I think it elevated the boss in some sort of fashion. Before the Arclight, I'd be like, okay, I don't really want to do this, but I want a Hellhound's task now, so I can at least get ranked and try it out.
How's that going for you?
I'm sitting on a Smoke Devil's task right now that I could have done today, but I really didn't have.
Is this that you've had
motivation.
for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, actually, I think the day that League started or something, I did or like the day before, I did my Smoke Devil task. So it's been a while.
Well, that's a great transition to the next boss, Thermi.
Which is the Smoky Boy.
Smoky Boy.
This one's so, again, we're using the term brain dead. It's so easy. So easy. I got 100 KC in a matter of hours. And I mean, I haven't died. So like, for being a tier 93 boss, there's problems here. And I don't know if it's the same concept of the code's broken and it just isn't challenging, but they definitely need to work on the mechanics of this boss to make it more challenging. I think they may have talked about that in a Q&A, or we talked about that. I don't know. It may have been in a VC. But for me, I would put this on the same level as Kraken. Like, it's C tier. The rewards are complete and utter crap.
That's the thing. They're not. The rewards offered by Thermi are incredible. Like
money-wise, not
no. Well, money-wise, they're not
yes.
great, but like you're talking the best in slot magic amulet, which is criminally underpriced because there's no item sync for it. Well, there wasn't before, whatever. The smoke battle staff.
You can get it from the babies. Like, you don't need to do Thermi to get the smoke.
That's like saying you can get the Kraken tentacle from the babies at a rate of like 1 in 1,000. Like, sure you can, but like, why not do the boss? Because the boss isn't that hard.
Yeah,
I think it has it's got a really good drop chance there. The smoke battle staff is very nice because it's literally every fire spell you could ever need packaged into one staff, plus the catalytic runes. The jar. And the pet is cool because you can transmog it, and it's only like you can't transmog most of the other Slayer boss pets. I think you can. I lied. You can transmog half of them. You can't the other half. But like,
so are you saying this is D tier?
No, I'm content to keep it in C tier.
Oh, okay.
I think if Thermi hit harder, because Thermi does typeless damage, so you can't protect against it. It's like typeless magic or something. If Thermi's max hit was a 20 and not like an 8, Thermi would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, if it's...
Because you can't pray against it.
You can't pray against it, and you just have to sit there and tank it. If they have the Thermie's attack speed, gave it a max hit of 35 with a typeless magic attack, and just, like, it's you or me, motherfucker, like, Thermie would be horrifying to fight. Like, that would be a really fun... That'd be a fun, engaging fight right there against Thermie, because, like, you're chancing it the whole time. I'll keep Thermie in C. That's fine.
Okay. So, the big boy, the big kahuna, everyone's favorite boss.
Ooh.
Some people hate it, some people love it, but I think it is definitely up there. I'm tattering between S and A, and I want to get your opinion, but for me, I think Hydra is at least A tier. Money-wise, it literally poops out money. Mechanics-wise, it's really boring. After a while, once you understand the mechanics, it's counting to 3, and that's it. You almost take no damage.
I mean...
And... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But you have to get to tier 95 to access it. So it does have a certain level of prestige. The pet is effing dope. I'll give it that. That could bump it up to S tier just in its own. The best in slot upgrades it provides are amazing. Ferocious Gloves, the Dragonheart Lance, those are amazing. So I'm content with A tier, but if you had an argument for S tier, I would be willing to hear it.
I don't even know if I have an argument for S tier. I was just going to say that I don't think the boss is that boring. I have 150 KC. It took me like a week. But Hydra's one of those things where, like, I did it in small portions, and it felt really good doing it that way. Like, I think I killed Hydra maybe like 30 to 40 kills a day for 4 or 5 days. And it was my first Hydra task, don't get me wrong, so I was riding that high, but I mean, the dopamine when you kill the boss is so good. Like, it's hard to pass that up. When you kill the boss and, like, there are no white drops at Hydra. Like, if you're on RuneLight, it feels like there are no white drops there. You know?
I mean, literally everything's
Thermie,
blue.
you can get dropped a fucking tinderbox at tier 93. Hydra, you making money. Like, I don't...
If we had an addition to our last episode with unpopular opinions, I think that balancing in this game is just... It's completely off. Like, you have too many hands in the pot of teams that existed before and teams that are there now, because we're literally working off of a 2007 port. So when this boss, Thermonuclear Smoke Devil, came into the game, I believe it was in the game when they ported it in.
Nope.
There's not much you can do. Wait, what? Thermie's
new. I think
Thermie's new?
Yeah. I want to say Thermie was the first Slayer boss added.
Okay, let's look.
If it wasn't Thermie, it was Kraken. Yeah, they're all new. There was no such thing as a Slayer boss back in the day.
Interesting.
Thermie was added when? 2013?
2014. Then why did they just make it dumb? I have no argument.
It wasn't dumb back then. We're working off a 2007 port where the most difficult content in the game is God Wars Dungeon and Jad. Like, it was just a different game. The game has evolved since then. No one was tick manipulating when the game first came out. Nobody was flicking prayers when the game first came out. I'm sure when Thermie first came out, the fact that it was typeless and you couldn't pray against it sucked, because I don't know if we had the construction update then.
You have 2007 gear, so you have a whip, and you have Carol's top and bottom, and you have dragon boots. You can kill it with basic gear very easily, and just pray redemption, which was also a prayer back then. So, like, I just don't think that they cared about mechanics as much as they do now.
But
when they were thinking about a tier 93, the highest Slayer boss in the game.
I just got a dragon spear from fishing in leagues because of this stupid thing. I got a dragon fucking spear. That's nutty. Anyways,
is that good though? Like,
no, it's just stupid. I'm sure it'll be useful for a clue step, but it's just stupid rare. For me, like, when I sit and I think about, Thermie when it came out in 2014, did it come out early or late 2014?
Oh, I just closed.
Let me pull it up.
Wait a second. In the recording, you guys saw me go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thermi came out in April of 2014. This game came out when? January of 20 whatever? January of 2013? When did Old
April
School
of 2014.
come out? Yeah, when
This
did
is
Old
April
Yeah, but when did Old School release?
2013. So it was within a year.
But what time in 2013?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
My
If
point
you know,
is,
drop it in the comments.
my point is, if this was one of the first bosses to be added to Old School, because it probably was realistically within the first year, we go now in full max, Dragon Claws, Tentacle Whip. You know, you can bring a Scythe, you can bring a Sang Staff. There are methods that we do now that literally didn't exist back then. Yeah. And I would like to at least give the argument that when Thermi came out, it may have been a lot harder because we also didn't. We used the pools in our house. They didn't have a construction update then. So you were just like hemorrhaging supplies at a bank.
Yeah, that's true.
Every kill or two. Or you bring a shitload of food. Like, Thermi probably looked a lot different. I'm content to keep Thermi in a C tier. But I will back up that Thermi is not a garbage boss, you know?
I think my whole point was just that just because mechanics have been the same for almost 10 years, 8 years at this point, 9 years going on, it doesn't mean that these bosses can't receive a mechanical update to match.
And I just got a shield left half. Michael, what is happening?
You have Oxie, you have a relic that gives you access to the rare drop table.
But I did.
That's what's happening.
I procced a spear and a shield left half in like 20 seconds. Like, I know what's happening, but still. But like,
isn't that the intended mechanic? Like, what
it
else
is
are you
the
gonna
intended
get?
mechanic. It just feels dummy thick rare. I'm not going to bitch about it. I think it's a task, but in any case, I think that's a dangerous logic to apply. Like, oh, Thermi's old, we should update it. Like, okay, Jad is old, we should update it. God Wars is old, we should update it.
God Wars is challenging.
No, it's not. God Wars is not challenging.
There are people who can go to God Wars with little to no requirements who thinks it's challenging. You can take base 70s combat somebody to God Wars. You can throw in a baby hardcore group Iron Man like me to Jad, and it becomes challenging. But I'm just saying, for it being level 93 Slayer, one of the slowest skills in the game, to access this boss, that's why I think it should be on a case by case. I mean, Kraken is level 87. That's still high. That's still a high requirement when the next best thing to Thermi is Hydra. And look at those mechanics. Look at the challenge you have there.
Look at the 5-year difference in the development of gear. There was no twisted bow when Thermi came out. If you're if you're rich, every boss is easy.
No. That's my point, though. Yes, it's easy. Every boss can be easy
but
if you have a twisted bow.
Thermi can be challenging if you have 60 or 70 prayer. If you have only piety unlocked, you have 70 prayer. You have redemption piety. You don't have money, so you probably don't have a fully maxed out house. You don't have best in slot gear. Whether you're rocking full carols, which is even still expensive, or your max cheat melee or whatever for the same strength bonus, like, yeah,
I feel like I fall into that category of the people who don't have the best of the best gear, and I didn't find it challenging, and I didn't find it rewarding. I was like, I'm just doing this for the combat task, and I'll probably not go to this boss again unless I'm with the pet. But we can move on. I think
Hydra A tier good. We'll argue Hydra about boss difficulty for the remainder of the episode. This is gonna be a long one. I can already tell.
Next, you want to do quest bosses?
Quest bosses? What the hell do you mean? We ain't putting no motherfucking quest bosses in here. We'll be here forever. You have locked bosses?
You have them on here already.
No, Michael. I'm talking like Gluff, Seren, The Rock, things like that. You're talking quest locked bosses. Okay. I was like, Michael, we're going to be here for 6 hours if you want me to rate where I put the sea snake from fucking Depths of Despair.
We're talking about things on this list here.
So
I would argue Dagonos is quest locked. We talked about it earlier, but
it's not. There are literally no requirements. So quest locked bosses.
Only 3. There's only 2 if we don't put Dagonoths on there.
Zulrah is quest locked.
Frick, you're right.
Which we're just coming out swinging if we're opening up with Gauntlet, Vorkath, and Zulrah. I'm here for it. Technically, if you want to get real actually about it, Nightmare is quest locked, as is Theater of Blood. Because you can't do them without Priest in Peril. But I don't really... That's like saying it's Cook's Assistant locked. Like, you know, is it quest locked? Sure, we'll put Nightmare in there.
Wait. Can you access the boss without completing a quest?
No, you cannot get to Mauritania without completing Priest in Peril, unless you're Rendy and breaking the game. Okay, then to add a counter to that, Deranged Archaeologist also goes in there because you can't get to Fossil Island without Bon Voyage.
Okay. He's a quest locked boss.
I'm looking at.
And I can take Dagonoth now because we have a lot.
All right. Well, we're not gonna put God Wars in there because God Wars is also locked behind Troll Stronghold. We're gonna do God Wars separately.
God Wars is separate. Yeah.
God Wars is gonna be separate.
There's no quest for Sarachnis. There's no quest for
the Wildy bosses. We're leaving Verzik out. We'll leave Verzik. We'll probably leave raids and things to the end.
We have a raids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm happy with this.
It's got to be good enough. I don't think any others are quest locked. Client of Karend is not like you don't need to do Client of Karend to get to Zaya, right?
No, you can just go.
Okay.
All right. Starting out strong with
Deranged Archaeologist.
Deranged Archaeologist. Okay.
This boss sits comfortably in the F tier for me.
Okay.
This is one of the worst bosses in the game because it takes. You want to talk about a boss that's not rewarding? Look on your high score sheet and find Deranged Archaeologist. Oh wait, no, not your high score sheet. Look in your collection log and find Deranged Archaeologist. Spoiler alert, it's not there.
It's not there.
Because Deranged Archaeologist is, I think, one of the only bosses in the game that has literally no uniques tied to it.
Damn.
Someone's probably going, actually, there's the fossils. That's not unique to Deranged Archaeologist. This boss has no uniques to it. There's no reason to kill this boss other than to do combat tasks, which I think Deranged Archaeologist has like 3 combat tasks. Don't get hit by anything, pray range the entire time, kill it with magic, and then kill it 50 times or something like that. You can do like a good 75% of those in one kill. Like... And then you're just stuck there with your dick in your hand for 40 more kills, 45, 49 more kills.
Yeah.
Like, I think I have 51 on my main. It's Deranged Archaeologist is bad content. Of all the bosses they could have put on Fossil Island at launch, I get it. It's a hardcore Iron Man alternative.
Sure.
But
it has killed its fair share of hardcores, though.
Good.
Yeah. All right. So, Zulrah? Where are we going by like level of difficulty? What are we doing here?
I mean, we picked 3 of the best bosses in the game to put in one tier, so I think this is going to be a pretty highly ranked section.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with Gauntlet going in A.
I would argue S tier for Gauntlet.
Okay,
I would.
What is the argument there? Because mechanics wise, it's very, very challenging. Rewards wise, it's also very rewarding. But what's your thoughts?
It's
for YS.
It's completely random. And I mean every element is random.
Yeah.
What style you attack the boss with to start is random. You can get into a rhythm of it, but like obviously it's random. Where the tornadoes spawn, how the floor is lava will rotate is random. The rooms themselves when prepping, what the supplies you're going to get, where it's going to be located, random. Which means you have to adapt throughout the entire prep of how you're going to do things.
Yeah.
There is no one set strategy for going in. There's a path you can take, but how many times do you take that like path around the starting room? You know, that little 5 room, whatever, and you get fucked. Like there's no cotton, there's no weapon frame. Like it's just, okay, guess I'll go fuck myself. You know, sometimes you get lucky and you pop into a room that has all the resources you need. That's great. Sometimes you don't. That adds to it the demi-boss factor of it. Like you have to find at least 2 or 3 demi-bosses to get the weapons to kill the boss.
Mm-hmm.
The boss hits like a truck.
Yeah. Even
in regular Gauntlet, the boss, he be hitting, right? It is it's a very challenging and a very rewarding encounter. Any boss that I kill for the first time and I leave like this, just like handshaking the first time, that's good content.
Yeah,
That
I
for
would
me
agree.
is like, oh, Gauntlet is S tier. Am I biased because Gauntlet also holds a special place in my heart for being the most spooned I have ever been in a piece of content in my life? Yes. I also genuinely believe that Gauntlet is some of the best materials to learn independently, and it's also some of the best materials to teach. You learn pathing, you learn how to avoid things, you learn, I don't want to say you learn how to switch prayers, you learn what getting punished for not switching prayers properly looks like.
Yep.
So you're more apt to switch when someone tells you, oh, Verzik swap styles, pray mage, pray range, Ohm swap styles, like the reward is random because, like, if you get corrupted, you get I think it's like 2 or 3 reward rolls. So, like, what is it going to be? Am I going to make bank or am I going to get mithril arrows? And it's balanced such that on the both ends of the mithril arrow bofa spectrum, the middle curve is actually pretty good. You get hella gems if you're an Iron Man. You get rune items to Alk. You get runes themselves. Like, I think Gauntlet is good.
I do be agreeing with everything you said.
I will be open to an argument for why it should be A tier.
No, I would agree with what you're saying. Like, that's a very good argument, and I think that is the basis on which we have to establish this is S tier quality moving forward.
Also, Gauntlet has a flex to it. It's not so much a flex anymore as I'm sure it used to be, but Gauntlet has a sense of achievement. The corrupted cape is an accomplishment. Is it a fire cape or an infernal cape? No. But it shows a general like understanding of PVM to kill corrupted Gauntlet. It shows adaptability. You have the skill set to do it, right? Like, because it has that flex piece to it. How many times do we see people post in our Discord that, like, I got my first corrupted kill? Like, that's good shit. Yeah. I will stand the Gauntlet day and night. I can't wait to do it on leagues.
Oh, you haven't done it yet?
I mean, I have like base 70 stats. Like, I would get fucked if I want to Gauntlet right now.
Even with your relics?
I don't have enough relics to stack. Like, I don't have enough fragment slots to stack the set effects that would be useful for me right now, which I should get very soon. I think I only need, it's 1,245 points for tier 6. And then we can start getting into some, like, dummy combat combinations. But for right now, I'd be going in, like, I'd only be proficient with, like, 1 style. I only have, like, 50 range. So, like, it's just not, it's not a good look for me right now, but I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah. All right. Let's do Zalcano since we're in Prifinus.
Okay, fair enough.
I would call Zalcano comfortably B tier in my mind. It's very good money. The mechanics are not hard to learn. It is locked behind Prif, which gives it some sort of prestige with getting there and doing it. You can get 99 smithing while you're there. That's an option. And the only thing that I would say brings it down is the fact that it's so heavily botted and gold farmed, and like mass worlds are just not fun to do.
Mass world Zalcano sucks.
Yeah, it's not fun. I mean, it has decent lore as well. I think the fact that, you know, it actually ties into the game with its own backstory is really cool. And it's an intriguing backstory as well. So B tier for me, I could be okay if it was in C tier, but I don't see it falling below B. I think that's what we're gonna have for a lot of these bosses.
I would also take B tier. It's challenging enough while still being really easy to kill. IMO. It shits out money. It's not, again, it ain't Hydra Theater of Blood money, but like,
yeah, it's good.
Like an hour at Zalcano, easy 1.52 mil if you get good drops. I mean, if you get back to back silver ore, that sucks. But I mean, in a 4-man team, Zalcano's good money.
Yeah, and it's great for Iron Man too. all the smithing supplies and
Yeah,
and
I
gems and
literally
stuff you
I
get?
did 2 Zalcano kills earlier because like Zalcano I can do. Like I could probably do Zalcano on our group Iron Man account. Like Zalcano's not a hard boss. Like I could easily do it
Well,
with the
it's
stats I have on that
technically
account.
not a boss though. It's a skilling boss because
That
it doesn't
still
outright
makes it a
attack you.
boss.
Well, it doesn't outright attack you physically. It
Hold
uses
up.
its environment
Hold on there, Jethro.
to attack you.
Hold on there, Jethro. If you're gonna make this argument that skilling bosses aren't bosses, we have to cut your boy Winter Todd from the list.
My
Right?
boy.
Yeah, Mister, I'm gonna get 99 fire making off the rip with Group Iron Man. So I included the skilling bosses because these are the 3 that are universally considered bosses that aren't.
Temporos, Winter Todd, Volcano.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, they're on the boss high scores, so you have to give them some sort of credit.
I will give them
I'm not
credit where
arguing that.
credit is due, but I don't want to. I just don't want to get into the like, oh, Hespori's not a real boss because you plant it and you don't actually kill it. Like it's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to get into stupid shit like that. Like Zalcano is as much a boss as as
As rest.
some other bosses on this list. I don't know, but I'm
B tier?
good with B tier. Yeah.
Okay. Any other ones next?
I say we go with Nightmares so that we leave the King and Queen for the last 2 of this section.
Okay. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna defer to you on this one. I've not killed a ton of Nightmare. I think I have 14 KC, and okay. I asked this question: are we separating Fazanis from the Nightmare?
We
Because I
have
think
to.
you
We have to keep them together. Because I don't
They are
have,
the-
I thought about putting 2 pictures of Nightmare in there just so we can
Yeah.
rank Fazani's and normal, but
Well, it's like hard mode Nightmare. Because we could argue like hard mode Tob is a thing, hard mode Chambers with challenge modes. So like
that's too much. That's too repetitive.
it's too much, sure.
So
But here's a question though. Would you rank them differently? Would you rank Fazani's differently than the regular Nightmare?
I think regular Nightmare is significantly easier because you do it with other people. Like if you're not the tank at Nightmare, you are cheering.
Mhm.
You're just mad chilling the whole time, bonking Fazani's, switching prayers. Like it ain't that hard, If you're the tank, it becomes a bit more of an engaging fight. Fazani's or not Fazani's. Nightmare's specials are really predictable. Normal Nightmare. Just because obviously when it happens, like everything has a set duration. So normal Nightmare, I don't actually mind the boss. This is one of those bosses where it's a lot more fun to go with a group of friends than it is to go in a mass world. A mass world is chill because you can get longer trips because if you're good at Nightmare and don't take a lot of damage, you don't have to use a lot of supplies. But like going with friends makes it more enjoyable. Fazani's Nightmare.
B tier then?
Fazani's Nightmare. You guys know my gripe with Fazani's. It's hard content.
Yeah.
That said, Fazani's also has flexes about it, much like the Corrupted Gauntlet. Unlike the Corrupted Gauntlet where you get the guaranteed cape for your first completion, if anyone ever is like, oh yeah, let's go to Nightmare, and they teleport right to the sleep area, I'm like, fuck you, dude, because that's that's such a good upgrade. And I think for me, that's going to be what really holds this boss back from ever being an A tier is the run.
Yeah.
Like this
But
boss
that's what also makes it not terribly it doesn't have a huge money impact on the game because Inquisitors is such a like game-changing item. I think having that, I mean, it's best in slot in most in its use cases. Crush, different thing. I mean, I'm speaking as you're giving me the look like you don't know what you're talking about. It's a good item to have, and it makes you a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was expensive. So like that run was just a little bit of balancing. If you could literally just bank and repeat, it would make, I don't know, there might be just more Inquisitors in the game, thus making it more, just making it cheaper. But
I mean, it's really cheap as it is, unless I've heard Crush is going to be best in slot for Raids 3. Yeah, the whole Inquisitor set is 250 right now. Like, I've heard it's going to be best in slot for Raids 3, but otherwise, like, its use cases are Nightmare, Fazani's Nightmare, CM Tecton, Fashionscape. Like, it doesn't...
It looks sick.
Yeah, like, I will say it looks really fucking cool.
All right, so where are we going to put it? B tier? I think that's where it's falling.
Sure, I'm content to put Nightmare in B
Okay.
tier because Nightmare can be a good social experience. Nightmare sucks to teach people.
It does.
Nightmare sucks to teach people because learners just die at Nightmare. And it's really sad because they'll die after like the first or second kill. And then they'll have to run all the way back with their shit. And like that is the most demoralizing run of shame in the entire game.
And if you haven't done Sins of the Father or whatever quest it is that
Taste
gives
of
you
Hope.
the Draken's Battalion, then you're really running.
You gotta take the boat from Sleep or the boat from Port Fatty Asmus. Ugh.
I think I just made an anime face just now.
Michael Hagode. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm blowing that up. That's getting zoomed in on for sure.
Cool.
Oh, my God.
All right.
All right.
I'll pay you not to screenshot it.
I'll pay you double the screenshot.
Did you think you could hide from me, mortal?
You know what? Just forget it. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Death, the Grim Reaper, Azrael, ruler of the underworld, and proud father to the best undead dog in all of the known universe. A question, if you will, adventurer. Have you ever died? What am I saying? Of course you have. I've seen you die killing bosses. I've seen you die to other players. I've seen you die to my precariously placed dark wizards. And it says here that you died to... You died to the light puzzle in Akka? Oh my god. My point is, you all die. And if you think you're fancy because you haven't, trust me, you will. That is unfortunately where I come in. Now don't get me wrong, I love what I do, but the workload is exhausting. And for what reward? Do you honestly think I care about the money that you have to spend to retrieve your items? And it's so frustrating. Adventurers are always asking, why is death so expensive? How can I be expected to pay this much money for failing at something I have never done before? They never ask, how is death? What has death's weekend been like? Does death have any plans for Halloween? They're always so self-centered. It's like they don't even remember what dying used to mean before I arrived. And another thing, I am not the reason that you die. No, I am the one who escorts you to the afterlife. You are the one who forgot what a Saradomin brew does. You are the one who decided to chance the man in an infernal cape and Armadil Godsword. And I am not the one who said, hey, what is this boss's max hit? I'm sorry. It's been a long couple of eons. I haven't been out of the house too much. So, yes, I am a bit touchy, I will admit, and I will apologize. But consider this a warning. Soon I will make my return to Gilmore. Not for any evil reason, mind you, more so just to embarrass you in front of your friends. And if you can't handle that, well, try not to die. All I ask is that you be courteous to the ethereal being underneath the hood. Be sure to enjoy yourselves this Halloween, and remember that I am right around the corner, always.
Ooh, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that brand new commercial because I know I sure did. You weren't expecting that one, were you? You thought, oh, they released a Patreon episode. Their commercial's just going to be Oxie talking about the patrons. Wrong. Because we didn't record on Sunday, I had a lot of free time, so I figured I would give you guys a nice Halloween-themed commercial to go with your Halloween episode that was recorded in January. Yeah, in any case, it's time to move on to the part of the show that I am literally the best at. No one can ever contest that I am the best at this, and it is shouting out the patrons. So, kicking things off in the Wise Old Man tier with like a page and a half of names, right? So, brace yourselves. We have 10,000 Slugs, Scape Caution, Andrew, Elagio, Bolimer, Basket, Benjamin R., Pork Jerry, Bradley B., Casper J., Hadadbod, Cole, C. Gladney, Connor M., Morty, Cream Tam, Dean R., Dean 709, formerly Pine Martin 709, and he's on my bingo team, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, DWZK, Dylan B., D. Falconer, Farmer Isaac, who was on my Springo team, Flying Castiel, Fortimus, Francine 1225, Gecko, Gloves, Hajay, Who Farted, Imby Jones, Jack M, Jake W, Jerry, John P, Kevin B, Kiosk Bane, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Magmorpheus, Miyamo Poppy, Migrel, Mike Oxmall, Mima, Moist Sean, Nasty MFer, Nick My Knack, 999, 999, Ninja Turtle Ruby, Obsidian Paladin, Old Nikia, Okami Damashi, Poorly Hung, Real Crazy, Reclinatus, Russ of Fury, Salted Snail, he changed it, used to be Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, Shadow, Skull Action, Sholdveg, Slayoxis, who's also on my bingo team, Solaire OS, Tankneek, The Chungaroo, The Rep Dog, THG Bang, another bingo team 11 Chad, Thormac, That Good Iron, Troll, the last member of my bingo team, I'm pretty sure, Tyler, Valdon, Zach without a K, Ice, Wallow. Thank you guys in the Wise Old Man tier of the Patreon. You guys are fantastic. 74 of you. That's absurd that there are that many. It is always crazy to just look at your guys and the support and the amount of time that you guys have been invested in the show. It really does mean the world to us. Speaking of things that mean the world to us, the King Black Dragon tier, in addition to the Wise Old Man tier. Kicking things off, we have Aaron S., Bloodman, aka Young Kyle, Brooks, 70. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My dad. Hi, Dad. Dicky Bird, GAM Stones, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, iSteam, our third favorite supporter, Ralph, Rylithian, SatanBot666, Seth Shep, Skooma92, Spartan Fire, the Big G Jordy, can't believe I said that one wrong, and Toast No Toast. Thank you all so much for the additional support and the unwavering love that you show to this show. I almost said every week, but realistically every day. Like, our chat in Discord is absolutely popping off all the time. I actually had someone recently come from a PVM Discord, and they said they don't think they've ever seen a more active RuneScape Discord ever. You know, I'm in a lot of RuneScape Discords. It's a lot of usually like a couple people talking and hanging out, but the community that we've built has been fantastic. And you guys, whether you support the show on Patreon or not, you guys are the reason for that. Both Michael and myself, we love you very dearly. You know what else we love? Meeting goals. You guys know that. You've been around for a while. Michael and I love a good goal here on Xpwaste. There's been a goal that we've been working on to get 150 patrons. And we hit it, baby. Unfortunately, Michael is not here to celebrate with me for the first episode where I am officially announcing that we did hit the 150 patrons mark. But he will be here next week to share in the hype as well. I'm a level with you guys, right? Bingo's coming up. By the time this episode comes out, bingo starts in 36 hours, right? It's very soon. Michael is probably still working on the board, the graphic for it, because it's going to look awesome. And I'm probably working with people on spreadsheets and data to make sure that tile submissions go well and smooth, and we can tally up points way faster than we did last season in the spring. So because of that, the shirt design probably gonna get put off until after bingo. So the start of November, we're gonna start the shirt design. Michael and I have an idea of what we're gonna work with, and we are thinking it's gonna be based off of the tattoo that Michael and I are gonna get when I head down to Texas there in a couple weeks. So you guys are fantastic. It is so cool to have finally met that goal. We'll have something where you guys can fill out your information if we don't already have it, and we'll send you a shirt with the design on the front and all of the what's it called? All of the names of the patrons on the back. I believe that is for the first 150 patrons. So if you hear that and think, "Oh my god, a free shirt," I am not sure that's gonna apply. So thank you to the first 150. You guys are amazing. Cannot wait to get the design finished and sent out to you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys' pictures wearing it all over town. If I don't see an XP Waster with the Patreon shirt at the Met Gala, I'm gonna scream. Speaking of Michael and I getting a tattoo in Texas, XP Waste South is coming up. That will be on November 12th, the Saturday, at Main Event in, I want to say, Fort Worth, Texas. I only say that uncertainly because I don't know if it's actually in Fort Worth, Texas. I think it is. You know, in Michigan, a lot of people say things are in or from Detroit, where Detroit itself is rather small, quote unquote, but Metro Detroit is huge. It's like the entire meat of your thumb, right? So maybe Fort Worth is similar. I am not sure. Again, that's a question for Michael, because in a few weeks, I'll be going to Texas for the first time to record a podcast, get a tattoo, and hang out with some absolute chads at Main Event for XP Waste South. If you're interested, fill out the form Michael has pinned in the XP Waste chat just so we can get a head count of how many people are coming. We know some people are confirmed so far, and we cannot wait to meet and hang out with all of you guys. Really, we can't. And that concludes me talking about the Patreon and supporting us in any way, shape, or form. If you want to support us and be a part of the ever-growing legion of XP Waste patrons, there's a link in the description, patreon.com/XP Waste. Go check us out. There's lots of benefits. There's extra episodes. There's the recording booth chat. There's cool badges in Discord that you can earn. Lots of fun stuff. So go check that out. Shout out to the Gnome Child. I'm realizing that doing this podcast by myself with the same cadence and energy that I talk in a normal podcast is exhausting. I don't know how people do solo podcasts. I've only been recording for 16 and a half minutes, and I'm ready to go to sleep. So I think I'm going to send you off to me again, and myself and Michael are going to talk to you about the second half of the first half of the boss tier list. I think it's about to get kind of heated between Michael and I, if I remember correctly. So enjoy this next half of the episode, folks. I'll see you guys next week. So we've got the distinguished royalty of old school RuneScape. The king.
Yeah, right in the middle of the episode, too.
The king and the, I would say queen, but like also technically gender disputed. It's not important. The dragon and the snake, Vorkath and Zulrah. How are you feeling about Vorkath, Michael?
It could be A tier for me. It's up there. Like, I don't hate it. It's definitely not B tier, but I don't know if it's S tier. That's the problem. It has decently high requirements, which is great. It doesn't give a lot in the way of actual rewards. I mean, the bones are nice for prayer training, but like, what is it? The Dragonfire Ward, I think, is what you make with the Visage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've always had a gripe with the actual unique rewards from Vorkath. It absolutely prints money.
The drop rate
is
stupid. It's so bad. The drop rate is so bad at Vorkath for uniques.
And the Dragonbone, I mean, it's just like, if they wanted to rework any of the high tier boss rewards, uniques, that is, give Vorkath a look, because you're making your money off of its standard loot, which is not bad.
Well, that's
Don't get me wrong.
I think that's
It's
why
like
it's got to be
2 or 3
so
mil an
low.
hour.
That's why it's got to be such a high drop rate, because like people farm the shit out of Vorkath.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I don't like the drop rates are really low. If you put a Vorkath unique on your bingo board, you can burn in hell. Because like that's a horrible tile to get done. Vorkath uniques are not good to get. That said, it's such good money always. Like if you walk away from a Vorkath kill with less than 50k, you've been scammed. But like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's such good money. And
What's the rate on the Visage?
one
Just
in
the
like
draconic-
5k.
So see, that's where they went wrong. You should like Vorkath should be the best way to get a Visage because it's the top tier dragon. If you have a Visage from a Wyvern, okay, decently high chance you're not going to get it, but you can kill a ton of Wyverns. You can get it from any dragon. So then why not have the best dragon be the most common way to get it? 1 in 5k just seems bonkers.
They could even have it, honestly, and just let the draconic Visage sit at a 1 in 2500 rate. I mean, as far as the skeletal Visage, I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine because it holds its value, but like you said, its use case is a bit limited.
Yeah.
So I think
So A tier's good.
Vorkath is some of my favorite content in the game. Melee
Yeah.
Vorkath is so much fun to do. I fucking love Melee Vorkath. So for me, I'm more than happy to keep this boss in A tier.
Cool. Zulrah? S tier? A tier? What do you think?
Zulrah is a tough one. Zulrah is a triumph for players to do the first time, which is always a big deal. This is going to be a hot take.
Okay, I'm ready for it. I got my oven mitts.
Zulrah's B tier.
Interesting. Very hot take. Okay.
Very hot take. I
Needed a fire
enjoy
extinguisher for that hot take.
I
Oh my
enjoy.
goodness.
Oh my god, I enjoy Zulrah. Right, I like killing Zulrah. I hope to get 1,000 by the end of the year, and I'm pretty close. Right, so Zulrah is so repetitive that it gets boring. And once you have a T-bow with full Armadil, it is like it's cracking with extra steps.
Here's my question for you. At what KC does it go from A tier to B tier for you? Because you're nearing 1,000.
Ooh, that's a good question. What KC does it go from A tier to B tier?
Yeah. And you can ask this for almost any of these, but specifically Zulrah. The kills take 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Not when you're learning. No, my first Zulrah kill was like 5 minutes long. Like, not when you're learning.
No.
I went through 2 whole
Oxie,
phases for Zulrah
You get,
my first time.
you get at least 50 to 100 KC, and you're down near 2 minutes for a kill.
So
if you have decent gear.
So for me, I think I would have the change when I no longer need to ever worry about the rotation. When I can close my eyes and like, all right, Zulrah popped up red and now he's blue, and depending on where green pops up, it's going to determine the rest of the rotation. Or like Zulrah popped up blue, I can just auto click to every other location because I know exactly what tiles to stand on.
Yeah.
Like before that point, Zulrah was a battle. Zulrah was, I have to remember how to do all this stuff. Once I learned how to do it, I was also learning how to do switches, which was good. I mean,
that's integral in the rest of the game.
So
I just want you to remember, Zulrah has some of the best in slot unlocks for most accounts. You have your blowpipe and your trident, and I mean Serp is okay, but it's not best in slot. But like, you have very good unlocks, and it's accessible by a lot of people. So I would argue not B tier, but whenever you get to a certain KC, any of these bosses could move down. Like you could get to the point where the gauntlet is just mindless clicking and it becomes C tier for you. But on the grand scheme of, I'm thinking about the player base and like what it gives the community, I think it's A tier.
It's hard for me because I enjoy Zulrah, but at the same time, it's the picture of what RuneScape botting looks like.
Yeah, it's true.
It is
That's
the
another factor.
greatest example of like botted content in the modern age of old school.
Yes.
Like
It is
when you see people going to Zulrah, like that's a bot. That's 100%. That's either a bot or an Iron Man, and you can tell the difference. You really can tell the difference.
So if it wasn't botted and you weren't just mindlessly clicking,
I ain't done yet. I ain't done.
Okay.
Yet.
Continue.
The rewards are best in slot. The rewards are inconsistent. And quite frankly, the rewards are only fun one time.
Yeah.
It's always all right. From the perspective of an Iron Man, the baby Iron that I am, and the League's Iron that I am, I don't give a shit about a second blowpipe. I don't give a shit about a second Magic Fang. As a main account, cool, like 2 mil, 3 mil, sick. Why do you think most Iron Men hate Zulrah? Because unless you get spooned on the content, you have to kill it thousands of times. And then you have to keep killing it once you get the item you need.
Yeah.
You know, it's a boss that has, in my opinion, significantly diminishing returns.
That's true.
It's okay money. It's not as good as it used to be because, again, botting. You know, I like Zulrah. I feel like I'm shitting on a boss I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for me to put it in that, like, I think Zulrah is an iconic creature in old school.
Yeah.
Zulrah is also the face of, like, new PVM. If it's not Ulm, then it's Zulrah, as, like, these are what new monsters are.
Sure.
It's everyone's first big test of PVM. Like, you kill Jad, and then you got Zulrah. You got the big boy, you know. If you post about your first kill at a boss anywhere on Discord, it's a big deal, right? Zulrah is one of those bosses where, you know, nobody posts about their first Bandos KC, but for Zulrah KC, I don't know. I have to say B tier. I don't know.
Yeah, we can maybe change it later, but okay, B tier. Sweet.
It's hard. It's hard for me, but it has to be B tier.
So we have to do some quick rapid fires. So why don't we knock out skilling bosses real quick? Temporos, Winter Todd, and we already did Volcano, but I don't know. I would put these in B, both of them.
Oh my god!
You like Temporos?
I was gonna put Temporos in S tier, bro.
S tier.
S tier.
Is this Oxie's list or? I guess this is like
give me
arguments.
Give me arguments. Why is Temporos in B tier?
There's faster fishing methods. Arguably, though, they do require tick manipulation, which I'm not a fan of. So I guess it is a pretty good fishing method. If we're just looking at it on the level that we've set, like the floor, the expectation of A tier, I don't know that it stands next to Gauntlet or Hydra. Like, I don't think it can stand on that podium of this is the content we've set the bar, and the bar is B because it's just a skilling boss. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I'm doing it for 99 fishing. But if it wasn't in the game, I don't know that I would. I don't think my opinion on it would change. Like, if suddenly tomorrow I wake up and Temporos is gone for me.
I'd be heartbroken. I enjoy Temporos a lot. I only have like 150 KC, probably like 250 across all my accounts. But like, I think Temporos, for a boss that was pulled as like Fishing Todd when it first was announced, I think it's a hell of a lot of fun. I think they were talking about it in the modcast that Temporos has enough randomness to keep you paying attention, but not too much randomness that it pisses you off, right? Like, a double fish spot is going to spawn. You know roughly when, and there's a couple different spots where, but you're never sure. You know roughly when the big wave is coming, but you're never sure when, and you're never sure where you're going to be. Like, am I close enough to a totem or mast to get tethered? Right? You good?
Yeah, I'm just adjusting my headphones and I whacked my microphone.
I think Temporos involves decision making. Do I cook? Do I not cook? Do I go for points? Do I go for XP? Which, like, Winter Todd can be the same, but, like, I don't know. I understand the ceiling thing, and now part of me is like, oh, let's just put Hydra and Vorkath in S tier, and we'll put Temporos in A. But, like, I know that's not how that works.
Sure.
I
don't know, but this was supposed to be quickfire, Oxie.
Am I quickfire with anything? Come on, man.
The 3-hour-long extra episode.
It's gonna, dude, we're getting there, man. I don't know why we chose all 50 fucking bosses to do this with.
It's because we can quickfire some.
Clearly not. I'm okay. B tier is, it feels like a sin, but B tier is okay for Temporos.
Right.
Considering we just B tiered Zulrah.
We did just B tier Zulrah.
You know damn
B,
well.
listen,
you know damn
B
well
is
I don't
not
want to put
bad.
Winter Tot in the B tier.
B is not bad. B is middle of the road. It's average. It's not saying it's bad. It's not saying it's amazing. It's not a bad place to be if you're in B tier.
Winter Tot is C tier. Change my mind.
Winter Tot is C tier. I mean,
Winter Tot
it
is not a
established a new-
boss. It is an obligation.
oh gosh. Now, you can't let your personal feelings get in the way of your ranking.
No.
I
Think
guess
about
that
it.
is the entire thing we're doing.
Think
here,
about
right?
it. Think about it. I don't enjoy Winter Todd for my own personal reasons. Can you find me anyone who's grinding Winter Todd that likes it?
I don't mind it. I seriously do not mind it. It is not that hard. And it's decently rewarding. The crates on an Iron Man, life-changing. That's why I spent the first 40 hours on my account getting 99 firemaking. Maybe 30. I don't know. It wasn't that hard. And I don't know. It just like, it unlocked a new meta for a very useless and repetitively boring skill that is firemaking. I read something on Reddit today, and it was talking about how the Gower brothers didn't really expect anybody to do more than just light a fire every time they're fishing. That's why the skill is in the game. But they're like, okay, well, we need skills, so why don't we just add it? Why not? Nobody should have to train firemaking past level 15. You have oak trees in all over the place. Maybe level 20. Because I think at level 20 you stop, like you just don't delay with any of the lower tier logs. So like nobody should have to train firemaking past level 20. There's no content in this game that warrants firemaking to be a skill, except for Winter Todd. Now we have a reason, and we have a good reason. All that to say, C tier is fine.
I think how Winter Todd came about was good. And if you're going to put a boss in that absolutely obliterates the meta of a particular skill, I'm glad it was firemaking.
Yeah. It should have been firemaking. Any
I-
other skill doesn't need a new meta.
I just don't like the idea of you literally have to do this content if you want to set yourself up for success. That sucks.
You have to do quests to set yourself up for success.
Quests, okay, no.
Some people
Waterfall
hate quests.
Waterfall quest is 30 minutes to get a rune scimitar.
Some people
Winter
hate
Todd is
quests.
40 hours.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it doesn't matter the time. It doesn't matter it's the statement of you have to do this to do this. You could do that with a lot of things in this game. It's not really an argument. Plain and simple, Oxie.
I would call it an argument, but okay.
It's not that hard to stay low HP, especially when you're low, like your account is brand new. You can go and do 75 to 80 Winter Todd in one afternoon, and then play the rest of the game for a couple days. You don't have to stay there like I did. You don't have to lock yourself.
Oh, that's painful. Hurts my heart, Winter Todd. How are we feeling about like the OG bosses? KBD, KQ, Giant Mole.
Let's do that. J Mole, KQ, right off the bat, F tier. Not going to change my mind. Giant Mole, probably comfortably C tier. And then I would say KBD is probably B tier. But I'll let you defer on that one.
I would also put KBD in C tier.
C or B?
C tier.
C tier. So cute though.
It's cute, but like
It's amazing. It's one of my favorite pets. I mean, if we're talking about things that, if my influence was on this list, KBD would be an A tier because I love the pet. And
we have it's not a pet list though. Is the thing.
Listen,
you gotta be
I
real
wasn't
careful.
done.
It's not a pet
Listen,
list.
I can remember as a child hearing that Zezma, and this may be legend. I don't know how much facts this is, but I remember hearing that Zezma was the first ever player to solo the KBD because it was literally the hardest boss in this game. And it is still continuing. It still continues to be a challenging boss if you're going off of the gear that was available at the time. I saw a post on Reddit that was like, okay, here's a challenge for you. Kill KBD in free to play. Even maxed mains can't do it. The guy's like, I'll give you 10 mil as a bounty if you post a video of you killing KBD in free to play gear. It's nearly impossible. So it's like, it remains to this day a legend of old school RuneScape, a legend of RuneScape, and it's got a sick pet. Is it challenging? Is it rewarding? No. But I think it deserves at least A tier for its status as old school's first ever, not old school, RuneScape's first ever boss.
That is absolutely criminal that you would describe KBD not that much differently than how you described thermonuclear smoke devil and then say, oh, it deserves A tier. Oh, man.
It has other factors, Oxie. Were
Like
you not listening?
what?
Prestige. A cool
Prestige
pet.
of what?
It's old school. It's not even old school. It's RuneScape. Literally the game of RuneScape.
How about
very
RuneScape's
first boss?
second boss? How do you feel about RuneScape's second boss that was added? Second to best, you know what
Cow
they
Fight
always
Queen
say.
Can suck my dick.
Why? You got spooned on 34 KC for
It's
your cow
not-
fight head.
It's overly challenging for no reason.
Well, go kill. What?
I just don't like this is a tier list of our opinion. I don't think Gauntlet is S tier, but you wanted it in S tier.
Gauntlet has legitimate reasons to be in S tier.
I just went
It
on.
is
for the
old.
last
Is not an A
5
tier
minutes.
quality boss.
I went on for the last 5 minutes on reasons why KBD is not C tier.
I find it. I mean, okay, I'll repeat the argument you had. Alchemical Hydra and Vorkath. That's the shelf.
Yeah.
And we're putting KBD
For
up
different
there.
reasons, though. For different reasons, it is on the level of Badass Dragon. It's not hard to kill. And if this was a list of is this boss hard to kill, then I could say, okay, it's low on the tier. But I think it has history, and I think it still has value in this game of being a mid-game boss that people strive to kill. I don't know why it's so you're so offended.
I'm content to put it in B tier because you seem real adamant with it. I don't think KBD deserves that much hype, but I'm
Fine.
fine
Put it
with
in
B
B.
tier.
I will not stand for C tier, but B tier, okay.
Are-
I think it should
okay.
be A.
Are we really going to talk about Cow Fight Queen just camping hard in the F tier?
I mean, D at best, if you want to bump it up a little bit. But it's just a dumb boss. It's dumb. It has challenging mechanics. It has an interesting concept. But in terms of, do I like this boss? Would I do this boss past 34 KC? I'm going to get to 50 and absolutely quit. I think I'm at 50, to be honest with you. And I don't see myself ever going further. The pet is absolutely incredible. And I would love to have the pet. But I don't think I'll ever have it. It's stupidly placed. It's got a stupid requirement to get to it. You have to have an elite diary.
No, you don't.
You have to have the elite diary
No,
to
you
make
don't.
it in. Okay.
You have to have the elite diary for quality of lifescape.
You didn't let me finish. You have to have the elite diary to make it like any sort of fun. You don't have to have any diary to get there. But like Where do you want to rank it?
I have a hard time with this one because Calphite Queen does make me want to put my head through a wall sometimes. But at the same time, I mean, it's not... Maybe it's like a cabin fever thing where, like, I've killed Calphite Queen far past the point where I've gotten my head, and I don't want the pet because I think the scarab is ugly as sin, and I don't like bees. So I don't know why, but even when I was making the tier list, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to put Calphite Queen in F tier. Like when I was downloading the images, I'm content to put it in D tier, but like something about the boss is fun to hit a 70 on the BGS and then follow it up with a fatty Venge and just rinse through the first phase, you know?
Yeah.
I do one kill. I hemorrhage supplies at KQ, which sucks. But
one kill trips suck.
One kill
I can
trips,
do two,
teleporting
maybe.
home. I go home on purpose because of the BGS specs.
Oh.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Fuck that noise. I'm 100% just gonna go and do that one kill at a time method. I'm fine with that, but
All right, let's do wildy bosses now.
Ooh, getting spicy.
Corpus of Wildy boss, changed my mind.
I'm okay with that. I was gonna say, technically it's not, but its entrance is in the wilderness, so I'll give it to you.
I already know half of these for you.
You
Vedion
might
staying
not.
comfortably in F tier, maybe D. Venenatis, you're going to put right into S tier because you love it and you're biased on this list. And I can't have a boss that I love in a high tier. Venenatis is stupid. The mechanics, they're just overpowerful for no reason. I'm not calling it stupid. That's rude. But like the fact that it has an 8-tile melee range. Yes, you have long legs, and I guess mechanically it makes sense. But like everything you've described up your face, everything you've described about Venenatis, it just seems hard for no reason. And you can safe spot it.
That's why I was gonna put Venenatis in the fucking D tier before you just. This man
So
went on the
confused.
attack. He gave a subpar explanation as to why KBD belongs in S tier.
Subpar.
And then flames my favorite boss in the game that I can't put above D tier.
I said A tier, by the
Venenatis
way.
is mechanically one of the worst bosses in the game. It is ruthless. It is unforgiving. Name me another enemy, not even a boss. Name me another enemy with a variable attack speed. You can't, because most of y'all didn't even know a variable attack speed was a thing. Right? You didn't know it was a thing. So, when it comes to that element of it, it's extremely unforgiving. Venenatis is built like a tank. She's so hard to hit off task with a crossbow. It is hard. Also, I will give her a pass for being below 30. But they have a neat little mechanic that isn't really spoken about with Venenatis. If both of you are in single combat, your max hit becomes a 6.
Why?
Because that's how they counter for PKing.
Oh my gosh.
It's balanced around PKing in that way. That's why the safe spot is so tile precise. So Venenatis doesn't move out of multi, but you do. If you're both in single combat, you do not hit more than a 6 regardless of the weapon. You could bring a T-bow, you won't hit more than a 6, right?
Is that why I've never been able to hit high on that boss?
I mean,
Because I'm doing it wrong.
it's possible. The boss is
sucks.
not good and desperately needs a lot. I posted something on Reddit about like how Venenatis needs to be reworked.
And you have the receipts to back that.
I have 1117 Venenatis KC.
That's
I
more than
have
the
the
average player by
receipts.
10 times that.
It's more exactly because the average player gets 100 for the combat diary and never goes back. Man's out here on the attack after the KBD thing. And I'm
little
firmly
hurt.
putting Venonattus in D tier.
I'm just a little hurt. Okay.
I can
I
tell
think-
you're a little hurt.
I
It's
think
okay.
all wildy bosses need to be, and this is my hot take. There's not a single wildy boss that I think deserves to be above C.
I
At
would put
least C.
Scorpia in B tier. 100% I put Scorpia in B tier.
because
The
it's
Scorpia
like
has one
somewhat
downfall.
balanced.
Scorpia, the only downfall is it's a peak Hare's Paradise, which
Yeah.
shouldn't even be a bad thing about the boss,
Okay,
right?
it's not bad.
Peak
It's in the
Hares are
wildy.
allowed to have fun too. It is in the deep wilderness. So like if you don't know by now that PKing is a risk, you shouldn't be in the wilderness. I'm sorry. Get good.
Yeah.
As far as like the mechanics of the boss, I like a lot. The healers are frustrating but not impossible. The boss will hit you but not super hard. You can do the Zilly method where you run around the room. I like once you have max gear and max stats, it becomes super easy and very farmable for the pet. It's got a really good pet rate. People like the Scorpia pet. I like it. I would put Scorpia in the B tier because funny enough, Scorpia is like the ideal encounter for the wilderness, even if it's in debatably the worst possible location for it. One way in, one way out for PKers in multi-combat level 50 wilderness. Fuck that as a PVMer.
Yeah.
If it was in 20s, maybe, right? Like if I could seed pod out when I saw someone, maybe. Like if I had to be really engaged in the fight and they caught a TB, all right, that's fair that your team comes in.
Sure.
But
I think that's part of the allure of these wildy bosses. Like it's it's a wonder that like Venonattus is so close to the line when all of the other ones are pretty deep. Like I think that was an oversight.
you can
If I'm
drag
being
Ven
honest.
up to 30. So it has a safe spot, the northern safe spot, which takes 400 years to set up. You can drag Venonattus up to like 30.
Yeah.
So
But
I
just
don't know
in
why.
general,
But
it's placed below 30. Mechanically, I don't think it has any sort of lore. I mean, like, there's no lore, but arguably all of them should have been in Deep Wildy. All the other 4 are. 5. Well,
there's
Crazy
only
Arc
two
is-
bosses. There's 2 bosses below 30, and it's Crazy Arc and
Crazy Arc and
Venonattus.
Venonattus,
My 2
yeah.
favorite wilderness bosses, mind you.
Okay.
But
What are we doing for the other guys? Because you have way more experience than I do.
so
I think I've killed them for the diary and maybe gotten 10 or 15 KC each.
So my own opinions about the bosses aside, Callisto, Venonattus, and Vedion all belong in the D tier because they do not work as intended.
Okay.
They are broken. They are difficult to kill in the least rewarding way possible. A boss with high HP and high defense that's a tank is not the same level of rewarding difficult as a boss that has a lot of mechanics like Hunlif, a boss that has a lot of pressure like Zuck, a boss that can just end this man's whole career like Verzik. You know, it's
I would
difficult
argue-
in the worst way.
I would argue that these bosses weren't ever intended to be soloed. They were mechanically designed for group content. That's why, I mean, back when Callisto was released, you had people going out like teams of 3 or 4 in full Verax. I mean, any of these bosses, full Verax is probably the way to go, but I don't think they were ever intended to be A, broken with safe spots, and then B, to be a solo encounter.
I understand that. The wilderness is not a place for group content.
Yeah, I don't know why they
The
did
only
that.
group content that really occurs or should occur in the wilderness is deep wildy multi-PKing. Clan v clan fighting, do a
And maybe
little
that's why.
4v4.
I mean, maybe that's why. Is because they're like, okay, if the big allure of the wilderness is clans, why not just make the opposite PVM encounter be a group activity to kind of counteract that?
But I don't know. a lot of the group activities have set a standard in old school. Let's look at the bosses that you can do in a group. Let's look at God Wars Dungeon. Let's look at Corp. Let's look at Nightmare, and even raids. You have ample time to prepare and come back. None of these bosses are close to a teleport.
Yeah,
none of them. It's even the obelisks that you use to get there are all far away.
Yeah.
Yes, Nightmare is.
Corp Telly is probably the closest to.
But I'm talking for the big three wildy bosses, right? Corp Telly is close. The level 19 obelisk is they're about in the same spot.
And
trust me,
for Callisto.
Yeah, but I mean, Anna Carl for Callisto, you got to run all the way around that area. You got to run all the way around. And then if you're trying to set up a safe spot, you have to run all the way through and take more damage from Callisto if you go the one direction. I don't think the Wilderness is well suited for multi-combat PVM group content. As its current state, I don't think a boss that's intended to work like Nightmare or Corp or Nex that is group content that's a little bit beefier fits with the Wilderness right now. And so I get the intention that like that's the argument. There's supposed to be bosses that are fought in a group, but like it's still not fun in a group. I try to tell people
I think it's fun. I remember one of my first real bossing experiences in this game was I made a friend and he really loved going to Callisto. And we would go and kill Callisto, and like the apparent risk can be exciting unless you're just completely desensitized to the Wilderness. And yeah, Oxie is. I'm totally not. Like I still go into the Wilderness and hug my mouse over the log out button. And I am constantly checking the minimap, and like I think it can be fun, but it's only fun for, I would say, to have that experience. It's not fun. Everybody, let's go grind Callisto because we all want to get, a ring that costs 60K. Like it's not rewarding. You're going to have somebody that's going to out DPS and have the pet chance. And then that's just like, why am I here? You could be doing this solo. So there's a lot of factors.
There's not a lot of split loot that comes from it either, other than the Ring of the Gods, unless you're going in. Like when I think group content, I think let's get 3 or 4 of the boys and let's go to God Wars. Or let's, that's content that like there's at least potential to make good money from. Like, yeah, a majority of the drops are garbage, but like, you have at least the potential for the big drop in a group, which is part of the allure. And I think, I don't know, I've been a preacher that like Venenatis shits out GP, but like for a solo player.
Yeah. No, if you're having to split,
I've been a white whale sometimes where I have 2 mil in a looting bag, 2 mil divided by 4 people to probably get TB'd and fucking murdered. Like, and you're right, there is like, I don't know.
You probably risk more than that.
You really do, depending on what you wear. I don't know. I love these bosses. I love Wilderness content. I will always love Wilderness content. I think these 3 don't deserve anything higher than D.
The only reason I would put them higher than D is for their pets. They're really prestigious.
I have to leave the pets out. I love these fucking pets. I love Venenatis. I love Callisto. Fuck Vedion, but like
I haven't seen. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen a Vedion pet out in the wild. It's very rare.
Vedion is one of the rarest
very
pets,
prestigious.
Because
Vedion so is Callisto. Like you don't actually see the Wilderness bosses out and about. Like I can count on probably one hand the amount of times I've seen any of these.
I know a guy with a Venenatis pet.
Besides you, I've seen I've seen Venenatis more because of you. So, I would argue that they should be in at least C tier because of the pet, but everything else we've talked about keeps me from wanting to because they are D tier. I'm in their makeup.
I can't because of just how I love these pets, but I don't think a good pet outweighs a functionally not working boss. You know?
It's debatable because a good pet is kind of why we're doing this most of the time for the pet chance, for the collection log. So then after that, if you take that away, what is there? What is there? So
Some of
I
them
think
make
that's
good money,
usually-
but like, yeah, you're right. Like,
I think
what are we
that's
doing?
that could be the basis we go off of for some of these, because like some of them don't have pets, and then that's a whole thing.
We'll
but-
have to do it. We'll have to do a pet tier list one of these days as well.
Oh, okay.
As maybe we'll do that as like bonus content for something, because I'm really trying not to factor pets in. I love the Zulrah pet. I think it's great.
yeah.
I think the untradables that come from Zulrah are so cool, but it doesn't make Zulrah any less for me
Yeah.
sometimes.
I mean, when looking at this, you really have, if you're going to make one for yourself, viewer, you have to think about the mechanics, the encounter, the experience, the pet, the drop, all that. That all has to go into it, but I don't think we're not necessarily going off of all of that. This is more so like half that list. We could, I mean, this list would be totally different if pets were higher on the ranking of where we land. For me, KBD would be in top tier. Callisto would be in top
And
tier. 'cause I
that's the
love those
thing.
Pets.
If it were just based on pet, KBD would be top tier. I fucking love the KBD pet. But I just don't think the mechanics of the boss do it justice.
Yeah.
Then you also got like a boss like the Mimic. The Mimic pet is the Bloodhound pet. Doesn't make any fucking sense. But, you know. Speaking of Mimic, let's get into some of the instance bosses. Oh, we're not done with the wilderness bosses.
Yeah,
Shit.
we have demi bosses.
I'm fine to put all three of them in C tier because they're easy. They're almost no risk. Two of them give you a pet. The one of them gives you a big drop.
The mechanics are not broken.
Yeah.
And they're easy. So the precedent that we've set is C tier for that.
I'm fine with C tier for all of these. For Elemental, Fanatic, and Crazy Arc, I'm fine with C tier. I'm absolutely fine with C tier.
Chaos Ellie could be B. It's not bad. It's not stupid. It's a decent chance to get a dragon pick. The pet sucks. I don't think the pet is
But
what
it's a
it
good
could be.
I'll give
It's
it B
B tier
tier
for me.
because I'll give it B tier because it's a really accessible pet.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone's like, "Oh, I want this as a first pet," like, you go get that pet. Hell yeah! Like, I have it. I cool. Go for it. You know.
Okay, Corp is last. Corp for me could probably go in. Okay, I love Corp. I think it's a very fun boss. Not a lot of people like Corp because it is boring and broken. But to me, here's the two things that I would say for at least A tier, maybe B, is the mass ability is great. You can do it in a mass. And if you're just wanting to vibe, with the clan, vibe with the boys, chill out, have a great Friday night, drink some beers, do some content, open a Corp instance and just send it. It's a very chill boss that has potentially like life-changing money if you can get an Ellie. So to me,
it do be having that
it's
life-changing
like,
money.
It's not C, it's not D, maybe B, but like it could be A.
I'm content to keep Corp in the B tier because holy shit, it is so boring to do. Corp is one of the most boring pieces of content, but Mod Corp? Corp with the boys.
Corp with the boys.
That's it.
Mass?
Cosplay Corp. We love a good
Yes.
cosplay Corp around
Literally,
here.
it's a chicken. You can go in
You
sandwich
dress-
lady.
There is an emote of me in the TNL Discord killing Corp dressed as the
have-
sandwich lady.
I thought I had the
Cosplay-
picture on my desktop somewhere, but
I think Corp has the the opportunity to be a lot of fun, but Corp is not what makes it fun for
Yeah.
me. The people who I go to Corp with make
Yeah.
Corp enjoyable.
sure.
But an Ellie drop really do be life changing. I'm content to put Corp in the B tier. I was ready to fight you
Oh,
because going into it, I was like, Michael is gonna put Corp in S tier. because he
No.
loves Corp so much. So I'm
no.
perfectly
Not
happy to
S tier.
keep it. I'm perfectly happy to keep it where it is right now.
Okay. Question for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry you have to edit this potentially.
Do you gotta go?
We are no. We're at an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we're rolling, dude.
We technically could make this a part 1 and have part 2 be for February. Because we have enough content left. You're gonna talk mad long about God Wars.
We got
and
raids. We
Chambers
got God
and
Wars.
raids. So
Okay.
we could have a part 2. I want to spend some time with Alicia before I go to bed. I have to work tomorrow. I'm content with finishing it out, but we gotta go like faster.
I think okay. You know what? That's a good idea. Just because I am all about honesty with you, XP wasters, I might not even fucking edit that out. This is not a way for us to cop out and like cheat for an extra episode. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 more bosses to do. And Michael and I are opinionated. So I don't know how. I don't feasibly think there's a way that we can provide the content that I know I want to give to you guys.
Yeah, this could be a 3-hour episode. And
Yeah.
we have to get this out. And just speaking honestly, again, we have 2 or 3 days until the end of the month. We want to get this out in January. Somebody's got to edit it. It's likely going to be Oxie.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to sit there for 6 hours and edit this.
This
episode.
this episode's going to be minimally edited as always. I had to give a boy his grippy socks this week, and I had 6 clients back to back to back today. I'm mentally exhausted, and when my brain shuts off, it's getting shut off for good. So if there's even a transition, I've done something right tomorrow when I edit this episode. I think it's got to be a part 2, Michael. Oh man, I feel so. That wasn't our intention. I feel so dirty, but like. We got a lot to talk about with the bosses that are left.
Yeah,
so I think it's got to be a part 2.
And there's enough content to where it could be early in the month that we get this out. And then, not spoiling anything, but we have a banger of an episode planned for March, if that's the case. I'm excited. I know you're trying to think about what I'm talking about, but it involves... Yeah, I won't even spoil it. I'm just excited for March.
I think I know. I may have no idea. I got to level with you. I may have no fucking clue. But
it's before today. It's what we had planned for February. So now we have to push it 1 month.
Ooh,
Yeah. So
okay, that's
it'll be
perfect.
worth it.
Oh yeah, we got a good one planned. I'm real excited for that one, boys.
So if we had to have a stopping point, I think this would be perfect. Because there's so much more within the categories that we have left that I think we have a whole nother at least 2 hours of content to be able to give to you. Because otherwise, guys, if we keep going right now, and we're already doing a part 2, so we're not trying to convince you or anything, but like if we kept going, it would be the next 30 minutes and we just have to like quick fire all these.
You would get no explanation as to why
Barrows, B tier.
As to why Barrows gets S tier, but Verzik gets F tier. You know, you get no explanation. So we're gonna leave you hanging until next time.
Anyway, XP Wasters, thank you so much for listening and watching. Well, maybe not listening, but more so watching. By the time this comes out, you may still have the chance to enter and win this 3D printed Dragon Warhammer.
That's definitely not being given away for any specific parameters. What do we have to say? Look in the Discord because we think you'll like stuff.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about a way we could introduce the giveaways, and it could just be like most of your benefits are going to be Discord related. So make sure you connect your Discord and look at the channels.
God, this makes us sound like a multi-level marketing scheme.
We're in a little bit of a stuck between a rock and a hard place with what we want to do and what we legally can do.
Yeah, the candles burning on both ends here kind of sucks.
So, if you have a Discord account, please just link it to Patreon and check it out. Join TNL. Links will be somewhere on Patreon. You should have gotten an email with a link to our Discord. So check check it out. And if you just literally join just to have the giveaway, then that's totally fine with us. We want you there for whatever you feel comfortable with, and we will help you along the way, because I get that Discord can be a totally crazy thing if you've never used a program like it. It is very daunting. There's a lot that goes into it. The channels, the voice channels, and what is a reaction, and just seeing everybody, like, it's all pretty daunting. So if you have questions, hit us up in the Patreon messages, email us, xpwastepod@gmail.com. If you can finally make a Discord account, find one of us. I don't know how. I think I'm Bloodhound with some numbers. Anyway, message us on Discord. We'll help you, because we want you to be able to take advantage of the benefits that we've laid out. We just can't like openly talk about it, but it's still going to happen, baby.
That
And
was
if you're
the
from-
longest winded description of
Hey, they deserve
what
it.
they probably already know about.
We just haven't really talked about it in the sense that, we just haven't talked about it. So
Say if you can't tell, we're being secretive because Patreon doesn't like us talking about it. So
yes,
it's literally
Yeah.
why. It's one of the ends the candle's burning at. And then also we can't give away membership because Jagex will ban us if we trade old school bonds for real money. So we're doing great as far as this whole thing goes. So check the Discord for some undisclosed benefits.
if you made it this far, cheers. Should have done it at the beginning. Thank you for checking out this episode for the month of January. And we'll be back for a part 2 where we finish out this amazing tier list.
We're going 2 rounds. Michael and I sparring each other for where bosses deserve to be. Let us know somewhere how you think we've ranked the bosses.
Yeah, let's know so far.
Please let us know on the Discord too. I know the episode's not going to be released for everybody, but I think it's going to be fun to do whatever. And I'm sure you guys will make your own full tier list. Maybe we can link this because there's a link to this, so we'll link it in the description. So you guys can do this yourself and like send screenshots of where you think things should be.
Hell yeah.
We're not done with ours yet though, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah,
I don't know what. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe, hey, at this point, maybe just follow along with us. Maybe do the ones that we've done up to this point, and then wait for part 2, and then finish out your list. Because we definitely want to see where you think these should go, because it's very interesting. And if you can, just I was gonna say something about like fix
If
the
you
icons,
guys
but
could
that's
get us some better and more
Better-
compact pictures of these bosses, that'd be great.
Maybe next time the part 2 will have better pictures.
Michael texted me and was like, Oxie, can you do me a favor? Can you make a tier list? I'm like, yeah, sure. I went to the OSRS bosses page on the wiki and I just picked pictures of them all. All 50 of them are in like different sizes and resolutions. That's why some of them are like cut off and some of them look
Yeah,
good.
like we only have a book for
Yeah,
archaeologists.
it actually took Michael and I a second to figure out the difference between deranged and crazy archaeologist when we first started this, because we're like, oh, how is that going to work? But
Anyway, XP Wasters, thank you so much. Again, thank you. I've said it like 3 times, but we appreciate your support each and every month. And thanks for checking out this episode. We hope you like it, and we'll see you in the part 2 for February. Bye.
bye.
Are we gonna do the sing with the outro?
Oh, ahem. Doon, 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 doon.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna sound so bad.